the actual real breaking news is Eli Manning, it has been announced, will retire on Friday. And he'll have a news conference to announce it. And so at age 39, the same exact age of his brother Peyton, Eli Manning is hanging up his cleats and calling it a career. How about that? I kind of thought he may hang around for another year somehow, some way,
Yeah, good for him. There was no reason to hang on. Why would you hang on to go be a backup somewhere? I mean, at this point...
You love playing football?
I guess. But if you love playing football, you love playing football. You love playing football. Going to be a backup, a little bit of a different story. That's more of a I like making money type of move.
I was going to say, you like making another $7 million.
Right.
Yeah, but let's be totally honest. I mean, Eli is not strapped for cash, right? And knowing as though he was a Manning, he won 2 Super Bowls, beat Brady, and everyone knows his name in New York. And like Tyler was saying, after doing that, it's hard for some guys to actually play a backup role and mentor the player in waiting.
Well, I'll say that's too hard for Eli to deal with because he's certainly healthy enough. Peyton, why did Peyton? Peyton did have one more year.
You really think so?
He had one more. Well, he had one more year in his contract for sure, and I think he could have done it.
How?
Well, Tyler, you play with him. What do you think?
Oh, I know he could have done it. Yeah, everybody loves to dog Peyton during that year, which I don't quite understand. Like, do you guys forget that he won us the Super Bowl? Do you forget this? It's not a coincidence that when he came back in the playoffs, why we came back to life offensively. Mm-hmm. It's not a coincidence why when we had a lot of average parts on offense, he was able to get us in the right place at the right time. Peyton Manning could have won. Look, man, I'm not telling you he could have come back and won 10 or 12 games like he just used to wake up winning 10 or 12 games, but he could win 8 games with his mind. Mm-hmm. With his mind alone, he could win 8 games. And if physically he had enough left in him, he had another 10 or 12 win season in him.
Like, are the Broncos in the playoffs instead of 9-7 with Trevor Siemian? Are they 11-5 with Peyton and in the playoffs again the next year?
That's a toss-up because, once again, you don't know which Peyton that you are getting. And most people, when they talk about Peyton in that last year, it was a guy who was a shell of himself, very smart, very cerebral, but he couldn't really drive the ball down the field like he used to. And even when he came in the league, he never really had a strong arm. So for Peyton, even though, you said he had another year on his contract, he didn't feel in his heart of hearts that he could actually go out there and be truly as productive as people have grown to know Peyton to be.
I think he got pushed out the door a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Say it's time, Peyton. It's time to go.
A little bit, and I think they thought they had Brock locked down. I think they thought they could save some money and invest in other places. I think they thought they were close, really close. And, they didn't need, like, the world's greatest quarterback to win because the defense was so good. But, man, there's just something about Peyton Manning. There's just... And I definitely look back on the criticisms I have of Peyton, and I feel bad about it. Like, what was I talking about?
Oh, dude, you weren't alone. I mean, everybody dogs him. I mean, I remember, gosh, I could go down the list. I don't even need to. But I can remember personal names of people that were calling him out during that season that we would talk about it in the locker room. Like, what are these dudes talking about? They have no idea what's going on inside this room. They have no idea how smart this guy is out there on the field. Like, look, Brock did a great job.
Yes,
did a great job.
Yes.
But do you think Brock Osweiler was out there scanning the field the way that Peyton was?
No. And there were other things, intangibles, just the way Peyton would go about things that would sort of, high tide raises all boats, that sort of thing.
Darn right.
And that's unfair to Trevor. Trevor couldn't replace. Nobody can.
No.
I mean,
impossible.
That's how unique Peyton is. And it made me change my perspective. If you have somebody, especially as a quarterback, who really is that special, man, you should milk every last drop you can out of them. I mean, seriously. And I think Peyton still had more to give. I think Eli could play more. I think Eli's talent, I think Eli dropped off way more significantly than Peyton did at the end of the day.
He did. But isn't this the gift and the curse of professional sports? We remember players, no matter what the sport is being at the pinnacle of their sport. And remember the best days of them. As they started to enter that twilight phase of their career, they're not giving us that same fire and energy that they gave us before.
I think Peyton still had the same
I don't know about
fire,
that.
and I think his desire.
See, that's the difference.
Was just as high.
The desire to do it, we all have as athletes, but our body sometimes does not want to show up the way that our mind thinks that we
Well,
can.
here's what I saw. First of all, I consider myself extremely lucky to have been able to cover Peyton Manning more or less every single day of his 4 years here in Bronco Land. I would still, even 4 years in, be standing there and like, hey, that was Peyton Manning. I mean, still, like, 4 years of seeing him on a, like more or less a daily basis, talking to him a million different times. But still, you would catch yourself and be like, hey, man, Peyton Manning's right here. I'm sure you had sort of, even he's a teammate, you're sharing stuff, but still there must have been moments.
Every day he'd come to work, I'd say, wow, Peyton really does dress like a teacher every single day. Every single day he dresses like a teacher.
He would.
Khaki pants and a sweater.
And he would tuck in sweaters.
Yeah.
He would tuck sweaters in.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I did see him one time. One time he got caught. He thought he was sneaking in the back door after he was done playing. He was sneaking in to the field house, going up to do his what's the ESPN quarterback spotlight thing? I forget the name of it. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He was coming up to film that, where he films it at the field house. Snuck in the back door, and he was in like gym shorts and kind of like a raggedy T-shirt.
Yeah.
And I was like, Peyton, what are you wearing? What's going on?
Letting your guard down.
Thought it was going in the back door.
I remember being around Eli for both of his Super Bowl wins, too, by the way. I was amazed how much respect because you think of Eli as kind of a do-de-do sort of guy. His teammates loved him, man. His teammates have an incredible amount of respect, and he had leadership skills that I saw while covering for those two Super Bowls that don't necessarily stand out. I think Eli is highly underrated overall because I think people, think of bad things rather than good things with Eli. I think Eli Manning's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
As do I. I don't even think it's a question. Is he a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, the one event that sticks out for me was when they were playing, I think it was the Patriots, and then he scrambles away and he launches the ball down the field. And when we think about Eli, we always think about him in the form of being clutch, right? He was always making the perfect throw at the perfect time. That the first 50 minutes of the game may not have been his best, but when you needed him in that second quarter, the fourth quarter, with time winding down, he made a great play. And when you have a brother, and his name is Peyton Manning, and we look at Peyton and what he's accomplished in this league, it's always hard to measure up to. But Eli has carved out a great career for himself, and you're right, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. May not be a first ballot guy, but he's definitely a Hall of Famer.
Well, congrats on a great career to Eli and the Manning family.